Again, more formally, receive you. Buenas tardes. También tendremos comentarios en español más adelantito. Gracias por su participación. My name is David Cruz. I am the National Communications Director for LULAC. I want to introduce today's panelists who are with us. We have the National President of LULAC, Domingo Garcia. We have the National Chief Executive Officer of LULAC, Ms. Sindy Benavides. We have the National Vice President for Youth, Young Adults, I should say, Andres Rodriguez. Thank you, Andres. He will more appropriately introduce the DACA recipients, but I will take this moment to recognize the Deputy Director for the State of California, also a DACA recipient, Jose Barrera. And with that, I'd like to turn the program over to President Garcia.
In 2001, I was a Texas state representative who had a young lady who was valedictorian of her class, but could not get admitted into a Texas university because she was considered an out-of-country student. As a result of that, in 2001, I co-authored House Bill 1403 in the Texas legislature, which said if you graduate from a Texas high school, you pay in-state tuition. That was the original DREAM Act in Texas that was bipartisan, 3 Republicans, 3 Democrats, signed by the Republican Governor Rick Perry. That's now the law in 19 states, and that is the origin of the Dreamers. Flash forward to President Obama becoming President of the United States. We tried to get immigration reform passed, not successful, but we were able to nudge and push President Obama to sign a DACA, originally called Temporary Protected Status for the Children of Immigrants, changed to DACA, and signed by executive order of President Obama, giving 700,000 young men and women in this country a chance at the American dream. Today's Supreme Court decision upholds the values that are sort of etched on the Statue of Liberty, and that is part of the American ethos, that America is a country of immigrants, that has always been welcoming and deserving of people who come here looking and searching for the American dream. Dreamers are the epitome of what that means. They are serving today in the military and defending our country in uniform. They are on the front lines in the fight against COVID-19, serving as nurses and doctors and all types of medical assistants in that battle. They're also working in the legal fields and all over America, providing America with much needed expertise and ganas, willpower to come forward. But this is only a first step on a long process. Today's Supreme Court victory was a procedural victory, but the fact of the matter is we need to send a clear message to President Biden-elect or President Trump that we expect within the first 100 days of the new administration that you will pass comprehensive immigration reform that will give legal status to every dreamer, their parents, and as well as the other 13 million immigrants in this country. And that we finally give them a pathway to citizenship. There is no turning back the time clock of history. Justice needs to go forward. Justice delayed is justice denied. Today, many dreamers are breathing a little bit less heavy because they know that they will be able to proceed with their dreams and their aspirations, but we must continue the fight. La lucha tiene que seguir para adelante porque sabemos que es muy importante que esta victoria, que es para los dreamers, es una victoria temporal y puede cambiar con el próximo presidente o con una ley nueva o orden ejecutiva del presidente Trump o cualquier otro presidente del futuro. Así es que necesitamos que el Congreso, en los primeros 100 días de la próxima administración, sea el presidente Biden o sea el presidente Trump, que pasen una reforma migratoria, que le dé la oportunidad a todos los dreamers cumplir su sueño americano, sacar su residencia permanente y una ciudadanía en el futuro. Y esperamos que no solamente para los dreamers, para sus padres y para todos los inmigrantes que con sus manos están haciendo América y están haciendo el sueño americano una realidad. Gracias.
I'd like to introduce now our National Chief Executive Officer, or CEO, Ms. Sindy Benavides.
Thank you so much, David. Today's decision is a huge win, not only for our democracy, for our dreamers, for our DACA Americans, but for an entire country, for all of America. We know that today the highest court in the land, our Supreme Court, ruled that the Department of Homeland Security moved to end DACA that end was un capricho. It was a capricious move from President Trump. Today, we defeat it in a way, in such a big way, all the political rhetoricness that we have been hearing from this president. We know that the Supreme Court, again, the highest court in the land, said that the Trump administration violated the laws governing federal agencies when it made the decision to end DACA. And I'm so, so happy that Julio, that JB, that Jorge could join us today to share their stories. Because the truth is that so many of our DACA recipients, so many of our dreamers have been living in fear. And I just want you to imagine what it means to suddenly lose your status once again, to not be able to drive and have a driver license, to not be able to work and provide for your families, to suddenly be deported to a country that you may never have known. Para nosotros es un orgullo estar con nuestra comunidad de DACA, con nuestros soñadores. Nuestra esperanza es que este 3 de noviembre nosotros salgamos en números nunca vistos a votar por personas que representan nuestros valores, personas que están unidos con nuestra comunidad, personas que votan por la libertad que es este país. And for us, it's so important that we continue to push and make sure that all members of our community turn out to vote on November 3rd. We know that the road ahead is long. What we want is permanent solution. We want to see permanent solution in Congress. We want to see HR 6 pass. We want to make sure that our 13 million brothers and sisters who do not have legal status are able to get in the pipe, because we know it directly from our DACA Americans. We contribute every single day. And in the middle of COVID-19, it has been our brothers and sisters who are the essential workers, whether it's in the hospitals, as doctors, as nurses, whether it's as teachers, whether it's as meatpacking workers, or whether it's in the grocery stores, who have been keeping America going. Estamos súper emocionados de esa decisión y estamos listos para seguir luchando. Gracias, David.
Gracias, Madam CEO of LULAC. Now we move to, I think, one of the most important parts of the program. We hear from those who are affected. And to introduce them, I'd like to welcome one of our youngest national board members, the very outstanding service of our National VP for Young Adults, Andres Rodriguez. Andres.
Thank you, David, and thank you, President Domingo, CEO Sindy Benavides, and all the dreamers here today. Before I introduce all the dreamers, and a couple might, she might come on, I just want to thank all the LULAC members, all the advocates that we partner with throughout the country that have helped LULAC advocate for DACA, throughout the years, and keeping the momentum going. We appreciate the Supreme Court, but as President Domingo said, it was procedural. It was striking down Trump's attempt to kill DACA. And as you've heard, although today was an extremely significant win for our more than 800,000 dreamers, we need to keep those momentum going. So press conferences like this and hearing the voices of those affected are very important. We need to continue to push for a permanent pathway, as we've mentioned, for our citizenship, for our dreamers. That's the next step, I believe. One way is to continue pushing for the Dream and Promise Act. Those that know about LULAC and have gone to conferences and just throughout seeing our stances, this act is not only beneficial for the dreamers and those with, I believe, TPS as well, but it helps those other nonprofits and civil rights organizations that have that are able to continue to collaborate. Real quick, a few things about the decisions today. The program should reset all of the original 2012 mandates, so all the new applications must be accepted, just so you know. The administration more than likely will try to kill the program again. We should donate to causes that maybe pay for the application fees for DACA. And we just nationally launched with LULAC our Todos or Nada campaign, which does exactly that. You can donate and the money goes to help the dreamers do exactly that. todosonada.org, or you can go to the LULAC.org and see the link there. We're about to hear from our dreamers from throughout the country that are currently students and professionals. And we want to hear how DACA has helped them, the reactions to today's decision, and also what they think as to what's going to happen in the near future, as we're right around the corner with hopefully a new presidency, a new administration that could really help us out in the long run. So again, thank you all out there. And without further ado, I don't believe there's a particular order, but we can start out with, let's see, I'll introduce everyone and then we'll go into the speakers if that's fine. So I wanted to introduce, I believe, Delma. Hello, we have Delma here from Texas, but I don't think they're in Texas at the moment. We have Jose Barrera from California, Deputy Director of LULAC. Maria Yepes from Washington State. We have Julio Acevedo from currently in Washington, D.C. And Jorge Reyes-Salinas from Sacramento, currently working at the Capitol. So we can start with Delma, if that's fine. I don't know if we would go with questions, but maybe, your reaction to today and what your thoughts were.
Thank you, Andres. Like he said, my name is Delma Gorostieta. I applied for DACA back when it first started back in 2014. Having DACA gave me the opportunity to go to college. I got a full ride at Texas A&M University. And after that, I was able to work, help my sister apply for college, help my mother, who is a single mother. And, I just finished my first year in law school, all thanks to having a work permit, to having a driver's license, to, being given that opportunity through DACA. Ever since the fall when the Supreme Court heard the DACA case, I was really scared. I was not optimistic. I was preparing for the worst. And every morning I would wake up, ready to face the worst news. And today was completely a turnaround for me. I mean, when Domingo Garcia told me the news, I busted out in tears because I really couldn't believe it. We've been fighting so long. We've been in the marches. We've been lobbying in Washington, D.C. with LULAC. So for me, this is just unbelievable that we're finally having a win, because we've had so many losses throughout the year, so many bills that didn't pass, that this is just a little fuel to the hope that we've been having to keep fighting for, nuestra raza, por todos los que están aquí estudiando, trabajando. We can't have a criminal record. We can't have anything. We've been outstanding citizens, paying taxes, buying cars, homes, studying. And this is just a little glimpse of hope for the future.
Great, thank you. Yeah, as you mentioned, we've been, LULAC's been, either on the streets or, lobbying on Capitol Hill. And amidst everything that's been negative throughout the year, to have something, not just with DACA, but with like the LGBTQ decision to be, not being able to be demonstrated against, this has been a glance of hope for all of us. So thank you, Dema. Right, so next we have Julio Acevedo from Washington, D.C. If you want to maybe say where you went to school, go to school, or where you work.
Hi, I'm Julio. I am currently the treasurer for DC LULAC Lambda. And I unfortunately didn't have the opportunity to go through college because of when DACA passed. However, I still haven't ruled that out. I currently manage one of the biggest locations to the Mates International. I manage a $1 million company, which I would have not been able to do had it not been for DACA. And the benefits that I've gotten just from being able to legally being able to work, legally being able to drive is just amazing. And just to think that that could be taken away from us, it's just, very stressful, especially being a LGBTQ dreamer, which both of those have been tried at the Supreme Court this week. So you can imagine how stressful that was. And both of them got struck down by the Supreme Court. So looking forward to seeing what else is to come for us dreamers, especially with the new administration coming. If everyone gets out there and vote and make a difference, we can't vote as Dreamers, but we certainly get out there, make sure our voices are heard on the street. If it's not on the ballots, informing people how to make sure, how to make a educated vote, to make sure these people we elect the officials that will represent us and will give us the opportunity to continue on with their dreams.
Great, thank you, Julio. And you're completely right. Being able to not just vote, but to be informed about your votes. So thank you for that. So we'll kind of just go down the line here. We have next Jorge Reyes-Salinas coming in from Sacramento.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I think that today's decision was a shock, right? Like I went to sleep last night and I'm like, all right, thinking what will my life look like without a work permit? So I think waking up and having those news and that side of relief, not only for myself, but my family's hearts as well. Like waking up, my mom texts me like when she just found out from like Univision and Telemundo, it's like, wow, like that's really, it's real. Like we're fine now for like, for the time being. So I think that that was a great feeling to have. And now I can continue working in public service in the state capitol, which is also its own unique landscape of, not being able to vote, but assisting other people, other members to pass legislation that affects California and educating them of what is going on with DACA and immigrants.
Great, and I don't believe you mentioned the assembly member you work for, Monique Limon, I believe?
Yes,
yeah.
Monique Limon from the 37th District.
Nice, no, that's awesome. Thank you. Next, we have Jose Barrera coming in from Oxnard, California.
Hi, thank you, Andres. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Domingo. We're very delighted to hear the great news that DACA was able to uphold itself and that us Dreamers are able to continue working. This is such an important event because when DACA was first enacted in 2012, I saw this as a beacon of hope where the US government said that as young people, if we do our job, if we continue to work hard, if we study, and we become good citizens, we are able to one day too be residents and citizens of the United States. And that was a promise that was made back in 2012. And we've had so many hurdles to jump, ups and downs. But I think now more than ever, there's that beacon of hope once again. And we want to continue with the lucha. And I'm so happy Andres brought up the Todos o Nada por DACA campaign that we're doing. We're delighted to launch it. We have partnerships with different organizations, Mi Familia Vota, Promotores Unidos, Rooks agencies, and LULAC. So grateful that we put it together. So thank you so much, for having this. I couldn't be here if it wasn't for that. I couldn't get that UC Davis education, and I couldn't continue doing the work that I'm doing if it wasn't for this program. So I'm very, very happy.
Oh yeah, thank you for again bringing up our newly launched campaign, Todos o Nada. Clear, si no somos todos juntos, then no queremos nada, because that's the whole point, going forward. So thank you for bringing that up. todosonada.org, or go to the LULAC.org website. Thank you, Jose. And next up, we have Maria Yepes coming in from Washington. If you'd like to say, I believe you just class of 2020, I believe. And maybe some future plans as to, what maybe this new decision can take you forward with.
Yeah, thank you, Andres. Thank you, everyone, for welcoming me into this space. Definitely, it's a different feeling graduating with this class of 2020 this year. It's a different feeling. I still don't feel like I have graduated yet, but this morning was a different feeling of emotions, not only for myself, but for my family as well. We have a mixed family, DACA recipients, those who weren't able to apply for DACA, US citizens. So definitely into this morning was not only like a win for myself, but like for my family as well. Seeing all the advocacy work that we have done is definitely paying off. As a recent graduate, I have been, thankfully for having my DACA active, I was able to jump into a law firm right away, and I'm working with a lawyer at the moment. I do plan to pursue more education and continue to go to law school. So definitely this opportunity this morning changed my whole perspective, I feel more hopeful, and I'm so excited to continue fighting for our communities because there's still a lot of work to do.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Andres, and all of the individuals who are with us today. My gosh, you are the most beautiful faces in this country. You are the future. As President Garcia said, though, la lucha sigue. So here's my question to Julio and to Jorge, just to give me your brief response. Other reporters may be joining in, and it's this. How do we mobilize our community to not relax at this moment, recargándose en la victoria de hoy, instead saying, this is just the beginning, and we have a race to November. How will each of you communicate that to your community? Briefly, I'd like to get thoughts from each of you, por favor. May we begin with Julio? Breve.
Just, keep asking for our council's help to get the word out there that we're not done fighting, mobilizing people, gathering with people, making sure we're helping people get informed of who is doing what as far as those running for office, and making sure that we elect those individuals and help them get elected, the ones that are out to help us.
So become more informed. What is your thought here, Jorge Reyes?
I think it goes on that, like, let other people still be informed, and, la lucha sigue, and I think we can celebrate today, right? We can celebrate, hug our families, but it's keep educating other people. And I think now more than ever, our voices and our stories have to be shared. We don't have to keep hiding in the shadows like we used to before. And even more now, we should still speak up, and we should join with other people who are also seeking similar justices for them and liberties.
Ms. Yepes, I want to ask you specifically, as a young Latina, how do you now move from feeling you were in limbo to truly seeing a pathway forward? And here's what I want to ask you. There is no pathway to citizenship as of today. What will be your focus going forward now?
Definitely looking into more options on how we can continue sharing information to families, to undocumented youth that weren't able to apply for DACA. This is a moment where we really need to all educate ourselves on how are we moving forward, because like we said, we did have a victory this morning, but we still have to continue advocating for our families, for our communities. This is not a full win until it includes all of us. So definitely continue pushing for that, and looking for other ways, because I don't know, I feel like I've grown up around this phrase that it says, donde se puede, se busca, or something like that. So definitely looking for a pathway to include all of us in it, and making sure our families are included in it all too.
Thank you. We have about 5 minutes before I give closing comments to our president and our CEO. Mr. Barrera, you have younger siblings, I believe a younger brother, but tell me, for those of you who have also others in your family whose status may not be secure, how do you feel like now? JB.
Well, what's really interesting is that in my family, I'm the only one who has DACA. My younger siblings are fortunate enough to be US citizens, and there's always a lot of options that we're looking into to help my family who doesn't have any documents. But also, I think it's really important to highlight the fact that now we have the ability to apply for advanced parole. And that means that DACA recipients could go back to their country of origin for a certain period of time and then enter back into the United States legally, which would build a case if they ever want to apply for citizenship that they had entered the country in a legal manner. So I'm no legal expert, but that's really good.
No se me va a escapar, Delma. May I please, Mr. President, ask you to turn the computer one last time? She is studying to be a lawyer. Why that field? ¿Por qué tú te dedicas a la ley? ¿Por qué quieres ser licenciada como aquí el jefe? Why?
After working under Mr. Garcia for 2 years, I saw how unrepresented our Hispanics are, not only in no saben sus derechos, but also the language barrier. A lot of our community does not have the representation they need. They don't understand that everybody has rights under this country, regardless if they're here illegally or not. And so that made me really want to fight for our community. for the people that don't know Spanish, for the people that don't know their rights, and to also fight for policy changes that are unjust, because just because the law is a certain way right now does not mean the law has to be that way forever.
Thank you. Andres, we're going to give you the last of 3 words. Thank you for your leadership with all these young adults. What would you like to tell America?
Just to keep on going, like you mentioned, please do not be very appreciative of today, but this is only the beginning. Let's keep it going. Dream and Promise Act. Let's get it done to streamline it.
Thank you, Andres. Our CEO, por favor, Sindy Benavides.
Gracias, David, and thank you so much for our DACA Americans for joining us, for representing us so well. And I can tell you that for us, por un día descansamos. Today we can rest at last after years of battling and fighting, but we have to wake up tomorrow understanding that there is a long road ahead and that we have to continue to champion HR 6 and make sure that that is possible, and that in the long run, I love it, Maria, we have to make sure que somos todos o nada, that we make sure we include all of our community members who have been in this struggle, who have come to this country, journeying to be free, seeking that American freedom, to join us and one day being US citizens. And for that, we are immensely grateful. Thank you so much for all your work. You inspire us every single day. Y por favor, sepan que estamos con ustedes en la lucha.
There we go. Señor Presidente, you have the final word.
To all the dreamers, felicidades. Tu lucha, la lucha de tu familia, es nuestra lucha. And we, as I'm a U.S. father and a Native American mother, and so I've seen the struggles, I've seen the fights, and I will continue, and LULAC will continue to fight to make sure that the American dream is achieved by Jorge, Jose, Maria, Delma, and every other dreamer in the United States, and also their families. Because the American dream is only as good as what we do for the least among us. And if we believe that that Statue of Liberty stands for American values and the American ethos, then we must fight and make sure that we win. That means continue to register people to vote, turn out our vote in November, and elect politicians who will represent us and who will stand up for the DACA students, who will stand up for the immigrants. And in the first 100 days, they can pass a comprehensive immigration reform bill so that we can make America stronger and better. And let me just tell you, just like there was no need to fear Germans and their hot dogs or Italians and their pizza, there's no need to fear Mexicanos and their margaritas and tacos and fajitas. It's all part of the American dream. Toda la mezcla, okay? So hasta la victoria. Gracias.
Ya me dio hambre. Señor Presidente, thank you. We want to thank each and every one of you. And remember, go to LULAC.org. And the phrase is todos o nada, all or none. We leave no one behind. Thank you again for being here. We love you all. We hear you. We are standing with you. Fuerte y hasta la cima. Be well. God bless you. Bye-bye.